People often joke about selling their soul or throwing away their destiny, but Michael was the first person who ever made that mistake literally. He didn't just give up hope. He surrendered the entire stretch of his future in a single exhausted moment without understanding the weight of what he was saying. Michael was 28, but he felt decades older, worn down by a string of disappointments that seemed to blur together into one endless gray smear of failure. He'd lost his job in an office layoff he never saw coming. His girlfriend left because she couldn't watch him drown anymore. And every attempt to start again fell apart before it reached anything close to progress. One cold night at 2 a.m., walking home through empty streets after yet another failed attempt at pulling his life together, Michael felt something inside him crack. He whispered into the darkness, more to himself than to the world. "If someone wants my future, they can have it. I don't care anymore." He expected silence, but someone answered. A voice behind him, calm and precise, said, "I'll buy it." Michael spun around and saw a tall man standing beneath a flickering streetlight, dressed in a long dark coat, his face expressionless and strangely clean, like someone who had never been touched by bad weather or time. Michael gave a bitter laugh, assuming he was hallucinating. "What? My future? Sure, man. Take it. It's worthless anyway." The man stepped closer, his tone unwavering. "You misunderstand. In exchange, I will give you something most people never taste. A perfect today. No fear, no doubt, no anxiety. You will exist completely in the present. You will not worry about tomorrow, because it will no longer belong to you." Michael, numb from exhaustion and too defeated to question anything, shrugged and said, "Fine, deal." The man nodded once, slowly, and for a brief moment, the entire world felt like it paused, as if time itself inhaled sharply. Michael woke up the next morning feeling astonishingly light, as if someone had lifted a weight off his chest that he had been carrying for years without noticing. Every sound felt clearer, the air tasted cleaner, and his mind was free from the constant noise that usually kept him paralyzed. He cleaned his apartment with a strange sense of pride, went for a run even though he hadn't exercised in months, cooked a real breakfast, and found himself smiling at strangers just because it felt natural. For the first time in a long while, he felt alive, truly alive, in a way he had forgotten was possible. But perfect days are a dangerous thing. They always come with a cost. When he woke up the next morning, Michael immediately sensed that something was wrong. Everything, the way the light fell on his floor, the exact sounds outside, the same notification on his phone, matched perfectly with the day before. He replayed his entire morning and realized with growing dread he wasn't living a new day. He was repeating the exact same one, over and over and over again. He smashed a plate, burned breakfast on purpose, walked in the opposite direction, but every time he fell asleep, the world simply reset, returning him to the start of the same perfect morning. He had traded his future for a flawless cage. Driven by desperation, Michael returned to the same streetlight where he had met the stranger. He shouted into the night, furious and terrified, demanding answers. The man appeared as if he had been standing there all along. "You lied to me," Michael yelled, his voice cracking. The man shook his head slowly. "I gave you exactly what you asked for. You surrendered your future, and I removed your fear of it. A perfect day, repeated without consequence." Michael's breathing trembled. "I want my future back." The stranger looked at him the way a teacher looks at a stubborn student. "Then earn it. Change today so profoundly that even time is forced to acknowledge it." Michael realized then that he had spent years hiding from life, from effort, from failure, from discomfort. So he pushed himself harder in that one repeated day than he had in his previous decade. He sent job applications without fear of rejection. He messaged friends he had pushed away. He rewrote his abandoned business idea until it finally made sense. He called his parents and heard their relief. He wrote an honest apology to the woman he had lost. He even filmed a raw, vulnerable video talking about everything he had been too ashamed to admit. By the end of the day, he was exhausted, but he felt something he hadn't felt in years: hope. And when he finally closed his eyes and opened them again, the light was different. The world had moved forward. The loop was broken. Michael finally understood the truth. The future wasn't stolen from him. He had abandoned it long before the stranger appeared. The future only opens for those who decide to fight for it today. And with a quiet smile, Michael stepped into tomorrow, owning it completely.